everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Or should I say welcome back to me to my channel, because I feel like I haven't been on here in so very long. But hello and welcome, and thank you for being here. I took a nice long break and really contemplated with myself if YouTube was something that I wanted to continue doing. But in that time that I was actually away, I still got comments on older videos, a lot of my drawing videos. I gained more subscribers that I don't even know why, because I wasn't putting out videos, but I just want to thank you guys so much for your continued support and for being here still, and it means so much to me. And that is also the main reason why I decided I would still enjoy making videos and putting it out there for the people that enjoy my content. So, yeah, so I'm here. I'm hoping to make videos again regularly, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to sit down and kind of talk to you guys about what's been going on, what I've been doing, what's been occupying my time, how life is treating me, all that kind of stuff. And I hope you guys are doing well and that life is treating you well. As for what I've been doing since the new year, well, first of all, I got a new haircut, if you didn't notice. I got my bangs cut, which actually need a trim already. It's only been like a few weeks, but they need a trim because my hair grows insanely fast. But that's beside the point. My dog's doing well, husband's doing well, my job is going well. The basic, you know, like adult life things are good, family's great, all that stuff. My niece is growing like a weed. She's almost a year and I cannot believe it, but cutest little bugger you'll ever see. So much personality already. I have been having such a great time watching her grow, and I can't wait to see who she'll become when she's older, and she's just so dear to my heart. But besides the regular adult personal life stuff that's been going on, I have been keeping up with a Bookstagram account. At the beginning of this new year, I actually decided that I was going to be spending less time on my other social medias, mainly to just refocus and kind of do things more that I enjoy doing, reading being one of them. And I had started a book account again in October of 2017. I had started one a couple years prior, but didn't have the motivation or really the time to keep up with it, or the resources, I guess you could say. So I started one again in October, and it's been growing really, really well. It has over 850 followers as of right now, I do believe. And it's just been so great to connect with people with a similar love for books that I have, and also to connect with people who might one day enjoy reading my own published works. So until that day comes when I publish my own works, I'll be reading other people's works and talking about them and posting pictures and testing out my creativity when it comes to photography, which is something I've always loved. And just in general, immerse myself even more into the books that I already love reading. Which brings me to the point of this video. My January wrap-up of books that I've read. Yes, I read each of these books in October, which for me, personally, almost dropped these, which for me personally is insane. Okay, I very rarely read ever that much. I mean, never in my life have I read that much in this short of a time. In 2017, it took me almost 6 months to finish Treasure Island, and I only read the rest of the books that I had in my reading goal after June. So basically in 6 months, I read 14 books. In 1 month, I've read 12, and it's not even the end of the month yet. I just finished one today, actually. On our way home from church, I finished a book, and it's just been insane, the amount that I've been reading, and I have been loving every single minute of it. One of my favorite things about this month has been getting one of my good friends to get into reading again. I was reading Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I was telling her about it, and she asked if she could borrow the book because she said I made it sound so interesting, and she read it and she flew through it, and she was just saying how much she loved it. So me and her have like developed our own little book club, and it's been so great to like talk back and forth about books that we're reading. It's just been absolutely amazing. And just to have that time away from other distractions and to just really dive into a whole different world is something that I have always enjoyed but kind of neglected over the years. So I'm so happy to be reading this much again. And I'm going to go through the books that I read, not in super big detail because I don't want this video to be an hour long, because I could talk about these books in turn for like minutes at a time, but I will spare you guys from that and just go from the top. I'm going to take the first book that I've got here, and this is one I actually started in 2017 and just quickly finished it in 2018, and it is The Oster Academy, which is number 5 in the series of Unfortunate Events. It is a book geared towards children, but it is actually quite a dark series if you think about it. If you guys seen the Netflix series on these books, you'll understand what I'm saying. But the books themselves are very quick reads, but they're very mature for being a child-geared story, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just quickly finished this one, and I do hope to finish the rest. I do have all of them on my shelf. The next one on my pile is actually an old childhood favorite, and this book is so well loved. It is The Music Machine by Samuel Wright, and I cannot begin to tell you how often I read this book when I was a kid. The amount of times I went back to this book if I needed something to read has just flown past the ability to be counted, because it's just been so often a biblical allegory style book, but it is something that both children and adults can enjoy. It's written simple enough for children to understand, but not too simple that adults couldn't enjoy. And it's just, as I was reading this, I was just reminded of all the emotions I felt when I first read it, and I was just like, oh, this book, I love it so much, it's so dear to my heart, and I'm so glad to have this copy still. And I think we actually had, growing up, we had 2 copies, so when my brother and I split the books between us when we didn't live together anymore, he took 1 copy and I took 1, so at least we both have a copy of this, and I'm so glad. I'm really excited for my niece to be able to start reading and stuff, because I think this is a story that she would really enjoy as well. The next one is this beautiful copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone that my brother and sister-in-law got me for Christmas. It is the Bloomsbury gift edition, and oh, I'm showing you the wrong side. And it's got this beautiful gold line art detailing on the book and on the box cover, and each book in the series individually comes with its own box, so they're not cheap. I think this was $50 alone, but when I was researching the different editions that Harry Potter has come in, I wanted to see which ones I wanted to own for myself. And I'm a person, I love beautiful books, as you guys can tell from the vintage that I collect, but I decided that the Bloomsbury gift edition is the one that I wanted to own as my personal collection. And not having any of the Harry Potter books prior, I was super happy that they got me the first one. And I had actually not read any of the Harry Potter books. I absolutely adore the movies, but I was one of those book nerds that hadn't grown up with Harry Potter, really. It wasn't something that I read when I was a kid, so I didn't have the appreciation of growing up with it like a lot of people my age do. So I read this book a little while ago, absolutely loved it, which I knew I would, and not in this pile is The Chamber of Secrets, which I actually finished in a day. I borrowed it from the library and I returned it already, which is why it's not in the pile. But, so yeah, I've read the first 2 now, and I really look forward to continuing my journey in Harry Potter, as I knew I would love them. It was no question whether I would or not. And just so you guys know, I am in Slytherin, just so you know. I made myself this little Slytherin bookmark. If you can't read what it says from there, it says ambitious, but then in the middle I wrote Slytherin in nice cursive writ with some watercolor green around the side. So this is my go-to bookmark right now. I only use this one. Next up is the book that I actually finished today, and it is Dreamology by Lucy Keating, and absolutely loved this book. It was such a cute, like feel-good kind of story, you know. It ended so beautifully, and it was just a really great quick read in between the other bigger books that I had read prior to this one. And it's just a really great concept, and if you haven't read this one yet and you're looking for a cute fluffy little love story, go for this one. Next up, we have a book that I absolutely adored. You guys know that I absolutely love Alice in Wonderland and anything pertaining to Alice in Wonderland. So this one, Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes, was a gem. I absolutely loved it. And despite the fact that it was a little bit slow going, as it's almost like introducing what will happen in the rest of the series, I absolutely love the character development, the characters themselves. It had such a cool, fun twist on the whole Wonderland story without copying too much from the story, and it was just absolutely wonderful. I do have the second one in possession, I just haven't read it yet, and I just can't wait to see where this story will go, but I absolutely loved Queen of Hearts. And then the next books I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do all 3 at a time, and it is the Looking Glass Wars series by Frank Bador. And it's well, I guess it's a trilogy, but I ordered these books off of Book Outlet. I read reviews on it, I kind of read up on them a little bit, and they sounded really interesting. And again, it's a Alice in Wonderland retelling with a little bit more of the whimsical part of Alice in Wonderland than Queen of Hearts did. Queen of Hearts was a little bit more realistic, while these ones are a bit more whimsical with magic and those kinds of things involved. Absolutely love this series. The only downside for me was that the ending was a bit underwhelming. It built up this amazing like world with this war that's going on, only to end, like it ended well, like it had a good ending. I just felt like there could have been more than what it was, but otherwise I would absolutely recommend this series. It was such a wild ride. It had so many amazing twists and turns, and I never knew what was gonna happen next, so definitely loved the Looking Glass Wars. And then the last series I'm going to talk about, and something that tore at the very being of my soul, was the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I could not begin to describe to you what King's Cage did to me. I still can't. I'm enraged. I am impressed. I am just utterly damaged for life, I would like to say. The book, the whole like the front like part of the book wasn't as good to me as Glass Sword and Red Queen, these ones, but the ending and like the way it just kind of built up for the next one, which only comes out in May, so I have so long to wait and to see what happens. But this is a series that me and my friend that I was talking about before were raving about, because it's just the twists and turns and the constant like suspense and intensity and the action and things that are going on. The villain in here, well, I can't call him a villain because I actually feel sorry for him, but he's one of those really compelling villains that like you relate to him, you understand why he's doing it, and that makes a good villain right there. But honestly, this series by far is at the top of my list right now of books that I would recommend to anyone, and I honestly am so looking forward to the 4th one and final installment of the series. I was telling my friend, if it does not end well, I will personally I will find Victoria Aveyard and I will tell her to rewrite it, because it needed to end well. It's just one of those series, it's just like, please, you've built all of this up, I love these characters, please, please, please keep them safe, you know, like that kind of instance. It's like you feel such a connection to the characters, you don't want to see anything happen to them. But yeah, so absolutely loved Red Queen. It totally pulled me in from the very first chapter. And Glass Sword, again, was so good, and I started marking a bunch of like little areas that I loved, little quotes that I found, little like thoughts that I had while I was reading, and some there as well. But yeah, so this series I highly, highly recommend if you're looking for a dystopian kind of it reminded me very much of Hunger Games, like in the style of it in a way. If you like the Hunger Games or Divergent or any of those kinds of books, I think you would really, really like the Red Queen series. So I think that is all for the books that I read in January. Let me double check my Goodreads just to make sure. I'll link my Goodreads down below for any of you fellow book nerds out there that want to follow me, and we can like see what the other person is reading, read reviews and things like that, and keep track of the books that you want to read or have read, books that you liked, you didn't like, all that kind of stuff. Goodreads is a really great platform for book lovers out there. But yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I did cover all of the books that I read in January, although I do plan on starting Six of Crows today, and I've heard so many amazing things about this series, duology. Basically it's 2 books. It definitely seems up my alley, so I really think I'm gonna like it. I borrowed it from the library, as I have been doing, because on Boxing Day I bought a bunch of books. I think it was like 10 in total or 11. And I put myself on a buying ban now, so I'm forcing myself to borrow them from the library, and then at a later time I'll eventually add them to my collection. But yes, so Six of Crows is next. After that one, I think I will read Shadow and Bone, which is by the same author as Six of Crows, who is Leigh Bardugo, I think I'm saying saying that right? I don't know. But anyways, I plan to start or finish this series. Maybe I'll read Crooked Kingdom, which is the book that comes after Six of Crows before I read this one. But then I also have Blood of Wonderland, which is the sequel to Queen of Hearts that I need to get to as well. So we'll see which one happens. I kind of read according to what I feel like reading at the time because I don't like reading books that I have to force myself to read. As I found with classics, I realized that classics are just not for me. Every now and again, I'll read a little bit of a classic, but then I have to read something else in between or else I burn myself out and then I don't feel like reading anymore. It sucks. But I do want to go through more of the classics. It just takes me a while to get through them. But yeah, so those are the 12 books that I read, a few books that I plan on reading, and yeah, so this blonde little mess is happy and thriving. I hope you guys are doing the same. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys are reading any interesting books, any books that you think I would enjoy. Leave them in the comments below and I'll check them out. But yeah, so this is 2018. I hope this year treats you incredibly well. It has started off really well for me. Still a lot of things down the road that I'm not too sure about what will happen based on like personal life things. There could be a move in the future, we're not sure. We have friends that are getting married, we have concerts that we want to go to, Comic Cons that I want to attend, those kinds of things. Lots of exciting travels, adventures, and whatnot to look forward to. We'll see what happens, if everything that we plan will go through. If it doesn't, you know, it was meant to be that way. And yeah, so I'm just going into this year fully charged and ready and hoping that everything will be great, as well as I hope the same for all of you lovely folks out there. And yeah, if you also have different suggestions for videos that you'd like to see from me, if you want me to go in depth of any of the books that I talked about today, let me know. But until next time, never stop dreaming or shooting for the stars, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Woo! That felt really good to say again. I feel like I haven't said it in so long. That felt so good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye!